You can take the easy way out and buy that store-bought pie crust. That's okay. It makes easier. We're all busy. We need to take some shortcuts when we can. I'm going to show you, though, how to make a quick and easy pie crust recipe in your own kitchen. As I say, it's going to be edible. Don't worry about it. And if it's not, so what? Put on your best poker face. Serve it up. 2.5 cups of flour. Just a pinch of salt, not a punch. 1 teaspoon of sugar in. La da da, la da da. Have some fun when you're making your pie crust. This is fun. It's soothing to me. It's relaxing. I'm making pie crust. Is it done yet? Is it a lot over there? There's still some left. Done! A little mixeroo. Okay, real quick. Butter! Make sure your butter's cold and unsalted. Take your cup of butter. We want to cube it. Okay? I feel like I'm playing that video game Cubert. Do you remember Cubert? That was from the 80s. Atari. All those games. Best video games ever. Let's try this here. We're going to try this out and see how it works. Honestly, I don't have faith in this blender. I don't think it's going to work, but we're trying. That's certainly not going to work. That'll fall everywhere. So, it's not, this isn't good. This isn't quick. This isn't easy right now. I'll pour it into this one. I transfer to the smaller one to have a better shot at getting this in. Let's see if it works. Whoa, no, pulse it, pulse it, pulse it, pulse it. Add in the rest. Ice water's next. Just a little bit to start. Put our cover back on. Pulse it again. Not looking good in this blender, is it? I just turned quick and easy into long, painful, and hard. Calling an audible. Blender wasn't working. I don't have the food processor. We're going back to the bowl before we ruin it all. So watch this. Even after that big cluster mistake right there, we're going to be able to save this pie crust, okay? Butter's still cold and cubed, so that's good. We don't want to work that too much. Perfect. So we're going to save this and make this the best pie crust, okay? So we're crumbled now. A little bit more water here. Okay, a little press, not too much. We're not going to work this. We don't want to overwork our pie crust. Fold it. Press. Like CPR. And 2, okay? Help us later on when we go to roll this out into our actual pie dish, okay? There we go. So there you go. Even through adversity, pie crust, sometimes old school is the best. Experience matters. That is how to make the best pie crust that you can in your own kitchen. Boom! You've got to leave this set in the fridge for minimum 30 minutes, okay? Maybe 20, depending on how impatient we get. Wrap it nice and tight. Hey, if Uncle Drew can make pie crust, you can make pie crust too. Have a little bit of flour ready. Cover that up. Now, there's also a reason why I'm using this cutting board. Number 1, the other one's dirty. But number 2 is when I put this upside down, I know that as long as I roll this pie crust out to the edges here, it's going to be the perfect size for me. So that's what I want to do. That's why I've used this one. That is half. I want to have a little bit thicker crust on this one tonight. So I'm going to roll it out to there. So I'm using about 3/4 of it. I'm going to roll this up, roll that back, flatten together. Okay, so we're set. That looks like about a circle right there. So I'm going to start out by pressing, and I go around from the center, almost like I've got pizza dough, and I push out towards the exterior, okay? It's going to make it a little bit easier for me to roll this out afterwards. So again, from the center, I push out one way, I'll come out the other way, spin it around a little bit, that way we'll keep everything going out uniform, feels nice and firm. There's 2 ways to do the pie crust here of what we want in terms of how do we transfer it from here to there. One is we can have a piece of parchment paper or wax paper right underneath this as we're going, and we'll simply be able to take the tray, turn it over, and then flip. Very easy. Or we can use another way where we have a rolling pin. We fold up one side, we fold up the other, we slide our pie crust container in, and then we unroll. That's the method that we're going to use today, okay? Just dusting that off, even though it doesn't stick. So, rolling out your pie crust, take your rolling pin, roll away, halfway through the crust, and roll towards you. Roll away, and roll towards you. And if you want to spin it around, same thing. Roll away, and roll towards you. Roll away, roll towards you. I'm almost at the edge of there, so I know I need to go a little bit wider on that. Go this way, this way, this way, this way. We'll just do a quick little check. I already know because we checked before, but if we want to make that perfect, I'll bring this side out a little bit. Look at that. Spin it upside down. I want to have at least an inch. Oh, there's the oven. That's ready, so that's good. At least an inch overhang all the way around, which looks like we do. Okay. Have your container ready. Rolling pin. Up. Take one side. Roll over. Take the other side. Roll over. Lift. Place in the center. Unroll. Unroll. Thanks, Mom. My mom taught me that one years ago. Okay, great. So I'm going to bring you in for a closer look now. So right here, just gently lift up the edges and press that down into the bottom of the pie tray all the way around. So just go ahead, lift up those edges and press just down into the corner. So you can see what I'm doing there. See? So I've just got to lift it up a little bit. Press down, press down, press down, press down, lift up, press down. Okay, once that's all the way inside. So we've got a nice, thick pie crust, okay? I don't like flimsy pie crust. Excellent. So once that's in there, you're going to take your knife. Now, if you have kitchen scissors that are clean, you can do that as well. But I am going to go right around the edge here. Find the edge. There we go. Around. Just like that. Remove. And we'll set that aside as well. So our excess pie crust right here, I'm just going to go ahead and set that aside, right up in there. We want to let our pie crust breathe when it's cooking. It is thicker. So I'm going to make an A. I'm kidding. We're making a few holes in here just to allow that pie crust to breathe a little bit around. Pie crust is ready. It's perfectly fine to leave it like that, but if you want to make this a little bit fancy, there's so many different ways that you can do this. But one easy way is pinch one side just like that, move down a little bit, pinch, move down a little bit, pinch, move down a little bit, pinch, 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 pinch. Okay. Now also, when you go to cut this pie afterwards, it'll be a little bit easier. You can simply go right inside all your folds, okay? So we'll just firm that up a little bit, make that a little bit fancier. You'll have a nice, thick crust.
And that is how to make a quick and easy pie crust. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share to the channel. Boom.